And when the president says he has patience, so do they. Like, they'll wait this out. They don't care about pain for their people. They don't care about their people at all.
You don't think that after going through months of this, having to go after Iran over and over again, when it was billed as maybe just a few weeks, hasn't depleted our munitions, and that China isn't looking at Taiwan?
Trey, I don't get it. We hear there's friendly negotiations going on, but is Iran saying they're not talking at all? That they'll just keep a ceasefire going as long as we don't hit them.
And Trey, if the Iranians are serious about, let's make a deal, why would the Iran state-linked media put out that very disturbing propaganda video about the president and his family yesterday?
But, Mr. President, stop telling everybody what you're going to do and just do it.
Trump's fast losing the support of his favorite network. It appears that the Iran war is a bridge too far, even for Fox News. Take a look.
And then tell the American people, all of us who want to be supportive, what is our objective? What's the strategy? And then go execute.
We're talking about a Chinese company that is reportedly going to provide Iran with at least 400 shoulder-fired missiles over land. And these are missiles, man-pads, that are used to shoot down helicopters and jets. The same type of missile that shot down that U.S. plane earlier this year over southwestern Iran.
I just think the you hit us, we hit you is just the worst kind of scenario, because what do we have, 96 days to the midterms. Iran's goal, they know our political process, is for Donald Trump's party to pay a political price.
And Ned, when you're looking at these polls that came out today, there's a huge dissatisfaction with the war in Iran. I mean, it is overwhelmingly considered a negative drag on the U.S. economy and just not worth it.
The Guardian have reviewed weeks of Fox News coverage in their latest article and found that prominent hosts, analysts, and military commentators on the network have increasingly expressed concern, confusion, and frustration over Trump's Iran war strategy. Take the likes of Laura Ingraham, who said that if Iran can still threaten Trump's aircraft, its military was not, quote, decimated as they had described. Keith Kellogg said that bombing alone is not going to finish the job, and Britt Hume said that Trump promised to avoid endless wars and is now stuck in one. This war has become so sufficiently indefensible that the same network who are willing to impeach Barack Obama over a tan suit are joining ranks with other networks calling to attention that it's just been one big failure. Going on to ask, what have the explosions accomplished, if nothing at all? And if Iran's military has truly been destroyed, as Pete Hegseth and Trump have claimed numerous times, why does it remain capable of threatening Americans?
Is there an end to the Iran conflict in sight, or more wishful thinking? Let's bring back Fox News chief foreign correspondent Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. So, Trey, that's the question. Does this feel different there in the region this time around, this attempted peace?
Yeah, Shannon, good morning. This has really turned into a cycle for the Trump administration. They strike Iran, the Iranians target Gulf infrastructure, and then they get close to an agreement. The question now is whether or not the Iranians are serious about making a deal, and if they have the officials who are actually talking to the president's team who can enforce such an agreement.
All right, Trey, as we move forward, is there a deadline?
At this point, it doesn't appear that there is a deadline, but remember the backdrop here. There is an ongoing U.S. naval blockade of Iranian ports, and it's costing the Iranians hundreds of millions of dollars each and every day. Their crude oil exports are down, domestic exports down as well. And so the clock is ticking for the Iranian regime, and they will have to make a decision whether or not they want to sign a deal with the Trump administration or return to war.
Well, everything seems to be still on the table. We know there have been concerns from the Saudis and other in the region who are impacted based on what we decide to do there as well. Trey, you always have us covered. You and your team, thank you very much.
You see, Trump wants Americans to believe two incompatible stories at this very moment, which is why you'll see him getting even more frustrated when he's asked questions by the press. The first story is that Iran has already been overwhelmingly defeated. The second story is that the United States must continue to spend billions of dollars and risk American lives because Iran remains an urgent and powerful threat. You see how both of these stories cannot be true in the way that Trump presents them?
A war that every person who was paying attention knew could not be won, and that would only damage the United States. And I told him that repeatedly before he did it. And it wasn't, from my perspective, just a mistake. It was like the end of an entire moment in world history where the United States, has enough power to influence events. That's all done. I think, because of this. And I think it's going to dramatically affect the standard of living in the United States and in Western Europe, which I care about. I think it's the most disastrous decision any American president has made in my lifetime, and nothing comes close.
Because if Iran has been destroyed to the level that they have claimed, why is the war still going on to this magnitude? If Iran remains capable of threatening American troops, ships, and even presidential aircraft, which has been announced, why did Trump declare victory so many times? And the same network that Trump's most committed supporters often receive their daily updates of the war from, they're the ones asking whether Trump understands the mission and whether the military has actually achieved anything since it tore up Obama's deal and went and waged this war. And that is how support begins to bleed, right? Not through a dramatic overnight collapse. As we've all witnessed, Trump's support does not dwindle easily. But when folks are the ones asking why anyone should believe the latest promise coming from the president when all previous promises failed, that's damning for the president.
Trump cancels strike on Iran, says that a deal is imminent. I think by my count, Dr. Paul, this is about 41 times that he has said that. We're talking with Iran. A deal is imminent. It's just around the corner. And so claims that this deal is imminent are also about as phony as his claims that Iran asked him to not bomb them. So the problem is he's got a huge credibility gap, Dr. Paul. People just don't believe him anymore.
So many of these promises right now aren't fulfilled. So it builds animosity, because if you're spreading lies and innuendos that all of a sudden we do this and we put on a tariff here and we, if we bomb this country, everything will be okay. Just look at it. The people now have a very, very healthy skepticism about what the government's doing, especially believing what the government tells us.
Yeah.
And it's something you won't be able to overcome easily, especially with the midterms on the horizon. I mean, we are seeing the repercussions of this war bleed into every single poll, as well as being heard on the ground. And even in areas that were once Republican guarantees, like, say, Texas, this war, as well as unwavering support to the president, has been voiced as a main reason that loyal Republicans have started to question their support, with James Tallarico being announced recently as leading in several polls in the state that hasn't elected a Democrat statewide since, the 90s?
And you are all three women who have been Republicans for most of your voting lives. Who's voting for James Tallarico?
Also gave him my money.
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he was a middle school teacher in public school in Texas, and they started cutting all his funding. And he said, well, if I can't change my school, then I'm going to need to change my state. And that's so becoming of a leader. I want a middle school teacher who's like, hey, this is broken. Somebody needs to fix it. Why not me? And I never send money to state people, but this year I did. I'm like, not only am I going to vote for you, I'm going to give you some money.
I think Republicans are having a lot of moments like that where we're saying, this is not what I signed up for. Like, give me somebody who's not extremist. I don't care what party they are. I'm going to vote for whoever is the most common sense and who I think would be the most likely to protect my kids.
You're never going to vote for a candidate that thinks exactly like you unless you run. You need to get on the bus that's driving closest to where you want to end up. Tallarico, I find him to be pretty moderate. And I think that is telling of what's happening in the state of Texas. The Republicans should be worried.
So as the goals remain uncertain, as the enemy continues retaliating, as Russia and China are accused of supporting Iran indirectly while the president continues to downplay their influence, while American military stockpiles are under pressure, more and more doubt will be cast on this president when it comes to handling this war. And it seems like it's getting to him.
Hey, if you want the full story, how democracy got here and how we take it back, pre-order our new book, WTF America, today. Just scan the QR code or click the link in the description. Let's do this.